Rich Dad, Poor Dad was good for the 90s. But this isn't the 90s. This is the attention economy. The rules of money have changed. Assets aren't houses anymore. They're systems, skills, and digital leverage. The people getting rich today aren't waiting for compound interest. They're engineering cash flow on command. If you want to be wealthy in this new world, you need a new playbook. This audiobook is that playbook, the fast track from paycheck prisoner to financial freedom. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Stop working for money. Start building money machines. You've been lied to your entire life. They told you money comes from hard work, that if you show up, stay loyal, and grind harder than everyone else, the system will reward you. It won't, because the system isn't built to make you rich. It's built to keep you working. And the faster you understand that, the faster you escape the invisible prison most people never even notice they're in. Working for money is the first stage of financial survival. It's not wealth. It's a treadmill that never stops. You run harder, you sweat more, and the view never changes. Let's make this clear. You are not supposed to work for money. Your money is supposed to work for you. Millionaires don't trade their hours for dollars. They build machines that print money, whether they're awake or asleep. They design systems that separate their time from their income. The poor and middle class work to earn. The wealthy work to build. They build systems, assets, and engines of cash flow. Things that pay them over and over again for work they did once. That's the difference between a worker and a builder. Workers get paid once. Builders get paid forever. The employee mindset, the trap you were trained to love. Think about it. From the time you were 5 years old, the entire system taught you how to become a worker. School didn't teach you how to earn. It taught you how to obey. Sit down. Follow the schedule. Don't question the system. That's not education. That's economic conditioning. They trained you to become an employee in someone else's wealth machine. To make money for corporations, governments, and banks, not for yourself. You were taught to find a job, get a paycheck, pay taxes, and repeat until you die. And if you play that game long enough, you'll retire tired, not rich. That's not failure. That's design. The truth is, every rich person you admire broke that design. They stopped trading effort for income and started trading leverage for income. Leverage is the great divider of financial classes. The poor have no leverage. The middle class has small leverage, a salary, a side hustle, maybe some overtime. But the wealthy? They have massive leverage, systems that do the heavy lifting. The four money machines of the modern millionaire. If you want to stop working for money, you need to build what I call the four money machines. Each one turns effort into exponential income. Machine 1, digital systems. Anything that earns while you sleep using the internet. It could be an online course, an automated store, or a subscription model that delivers value without your constant input. Digital systems let you multiply your income without multiplying your hours. Machine 2, financial capital. Investments that pay you for owning, not working. Stocks, index funds, real estate, crypto yields, private lending. Assets that grow or produce cash flow on their own. When you learn to deploy capital instead of hoarding it, your money becomes an employee that never takes a day off. Machine 3, intellectual property. This is your knowledge, your skill, your process, turned into a product. A book, a course, a template, an app, something that people can buy again and again. You build it once, it sells forever. That's power. Machine 4, audience and attention. In the digital age, attention is currency. Build a following, a brand, or a community that trusts you, and you can monetize that trust infinitely. One loyal audience is worth more than 10 jobs. These four machines are how the new rich are being built right now. They're not chasing promotions. They're building systems that scale beyond them, from labor to leverage. The wealth shift. Here's a rule that should guide every financial move you make from this point forward. If you stop working and your income stops too, you don't own a business. You own a job. Let that sting for a moment, because most entrepreneurs don't have leverage. They've just built busier versions of employment. They're still slaves to hours, clients, and stress. Real freedom begins when money comes in whether you work or not. That's the shift from labor to leverage. Leverage multiplies results without multiplying effort. One YouTube video that earns every month. One automation that closes sales while you're sleeping. One investment that compounds while you're on vacation. You start small, maybe with one product, one client system, or one recurring offer. But if you keep building, each machine stacks on the next. Soon, your time is no longer your income. It's your strategy. The $1,000 idea that became $10,000 a month. Let me give you a real-world example. A young man learned how to build websites for small businesses. Nothing revolutionary, just a simple skill. Instead of freelancing forever, he recorded his process, created templates, and built a system that delivered websites automatically through AI and design automation. He turned his service into a system. He stopped charging $1,000 per website and started charging $100 per month for a subscription that managed sites automatically. Within 6 months, he had 100 clients, $10,000 a month in recurring revenue. He didn't get richer by working harder. He got richer by building smarter. He didn't chase clients. He built a machine that chased cash flow. This is the formula of the new economy. Leverage plus systems plus recurrence equals freedom. The 3 rules of money machines. If you want your own money machine, you must live by 3 rules. Rule 1. Build once, earn forever. Stop doing tasks that only pay once. Every hour you spend should create something that can pay you repeatedly. Rule 2. Automate or eliminate. If you have to do it manually, it's a job. If you can automate it, it's leverage. If it's not scalable, delete it. Rule 3. Reinvest. Don't retreat. The poor spend when they earn. The rich reinvest until they're free. Every dollar should be assigned a mission to make more dollars. If you follow these rules for 6 months, you'll feel a shift. Your income will stop depending on effort and start depending on structure. You'll think differently, act differently, spend differently. Because once you build a system that earns for you, your entire relationship with time changes. You stop thinking in hours and start thinking in assets. The psychological shift that unlocks wealth. Money isn't physical first, it's psychological. If you still believe that effort equals income, you'll sabotage your ability to scale. You'll overwork instead of optimize. You'll grind instead of grow. You have to reprogram your financial identity. From worker to architect. From earner to builder. From time trader to system owner. That's the evolution of wealth. You start by earning money. Then you learn how to manage it. Then you master how to multiply it. Once your systems earn more than your job, you've escaped. And that escape is what this entire audiobook is about. Chapter transition. So let's make this clear. Money respects systems, not wishes. You can dream of freedom, but if your income depends on effort, you're still enslaved to the grind. Your first mission is to stop working for money and start building machines that make it for you. But there's one dangerous belief that still holds millions of people back. The myth that hard work alone will make you rich. It's time to destroy that lie. Next up, Chapter 2, The Lie of Hard Work. Why effort doesn't equal income. Chapter 2, The Lie of Hard Work. Why effort doesn't equal income. You've been told all your life that if you just work hard enough, success will come. That if you show up early, stay late, and grind harder than everyone else, eventually the universe will reward you. That's the most dangerous financial lie ever told. Because hard work doesn't guarantee wealth. If it did, every construction worker, Every nurse pulling double shifts, every delivery driver grinding 12-hour days would be rich. But they're not. They're exhausted. They're overworked. And they're broke. Hard work is honorable, yes, but it's not scalable. And anything that's not scalable has a ceiling. You can't multiply hours. You can't multiply effort. You can only multiply leverage. Let me make this clear. Effort alone is not the engine of wealth. Leverage is. The false god of effort. Our society worships effort. It's baked into our language. Work hard and you'll get ahead. But the truth is, effort only matters when it's applied to the right system. Digging trenches with a spoon is hard work, but it's also stupidity. You can work 10 times harder with the wrong tools and still be 10 years behind the person who works smarter for 10 minutes. The wealthy don't worship effort. They worship results. They understand that time is a finite resource, and leverage is the only way to multiply it. So they build systems that separate effort from output. They don't ask, how can I work harder? They ask, how can I build something that works without me? That single shift in thinking separates the rich from the rest. The effort trap. How the system keeps you small. Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. The system needs you to believe in hard work. Because if you believe that working harder is the solution, you'll never question who you're working for. You'll show up, punch in, grind all day, and convince yourself you're being noble, all while someone else profits off your labor. That's not inspiration. That's manipulation. The middle class is kept alive by the illusion of progress. You get just enough raises to stay hopeful, just enough recognition to feel seen, and just enough comfort to avoid taking risks. It's not a reward system. It's a control system. And as long as you keep believing hard work equals income, you'll stay trapped in it. The wealth equation has changed. We used to live in a world where effort and output were connected. You farmed the land, you sold what you grew, and you got paid for the work you did. That's the industrial economy. Physical work creates physical reward. But that world is gone. Today, wealth is created through ideas, systems, and networks. The people who win now don't dig harder, they engineer smarter. One person records a digital course once and earns every day for years. Another person automates an e-commerce business that sells while they sleep. Another invests capital that multiplies while they travel. That's leverage. That's scalable wealth. And that's how the modern millionaire gets rich, not by doing more, but by building smarter. The leverage multiplier. How the rich make every hour worth more. Let's look at two people with the same skill set. One sells their time. The other sells their system. Person A is a freelancer charging $50 an hour. They're good. They're diligent. They work hard. But there are only 24 hours in a day. Even if they fill every hour, their income is capped. Person B takes the same skill, but they record tutorials, automate delivery, and sell a digital course for $200. They don't sell time, they sell results. And those results can be purchased by thousands of people, even while person B sleeps. Same skill, same knowledge, different model, different life. That's what leverage looks like. Leverage means your income grows even when your effort doesn't. It's the multiplier of modern wealth. The new rules of the game. You have to stop playing the old game of work. The new game has 3 rules. Rule number 1. Energy is limited. Systems aren't. You only have so many hours, so many mental calories, so many days of motivation. Systems don't. Systems can run 24/7 without fatigue. Rule number 2. Income must detach from time. If you can't make money while you're not working, you don't own your income. Your employer does. Rule number 3. Leverage beats labor. Every time. Leverage turns effort into exponential reward. Labor only trades time for temporary gain. The sooner you build around those rules, the faster you escape the financial treadmill. Smart work, the real source of power. Smart work is not about doing less. It's about doing what matters most, once, and letting it pay you forever. Smart work means automating your process, documenting your systems, and creating assets that live without you. It means investing in tools, technology, or training that multiply your efficiency tenfold. Smart work requires stepping back and thinking like an owner, not an employee. It's planning the system before you ever touch the task. That's what real work looks like. Not more sweat, more strategy. The richest people in the world aren't busy, they're focused. They don't chase 10 things a day. They build one thing that does 10 things for them. The emotional trap of overworking. Let's talk about the emotional side of this. People cling to hard work because it feels safe. You can see it. You can measure it. It feels virtuous. But safety is the enemy of wealth. You can't build freedom by clinging to comfort. Overworking feels productive, but it's really avoidance. Avoidance of risk. Avoidance of innovation. Avoidance of ownership. The comfort of busy is the drug that keeps average people from ever becoming rich. They confuse motion with progress. True progress happens when you stop moving in circles and start building upward, toward systems, assets, and leverage. The freedom equation. Here's the equation that will define your financial life from now on. Freedom equals leverage plus ownership. Leverage is the multiplier. Ownership is the anchor. You can't borrow your way to wealth. You can't save your way there either. You have to own the system that pays you, and make sure that system doesn't require you every day. That could be a business, a digital product, a brand, an investment portfolio, but it has to be yours. When you own leverage, you own your time. And when you own your time, you own your life. The challenge. Here's your challenge for this week. Audit every hour of your day. Ask yourself one question. Does this hour create income once or forever? If it only pays you once, find a way to turn it into a system. Document it. Automate it. Delegate it. Stop repeating tasks. Start replicating results. Your life is a business. Treat it like one. Every process you build is another brick in your money machine. Every repetitive task you eliminate is another hour of freedom. You are not here to work harder. You are here to work higher. Chapter transition. Hard work built the industrial age. Leverage builds the digital age. If you keep playing the old game, you'll keep getting old results. You've now seen why effort doesn't equal income. But there's another piece of the wealth puzzle you must understand: skill. The right skills, applied with leverage, create unstoppable wealth. The wrong skills, no matter how well you master them, keep you poor. Let's go deeper. Next up, Chapter 3, The Skill Economy. Learn once, earn forever. Chapter 3, The Skill Economy. Learn once, earn forever. In the old world, your degree determined your destiny. In the new world, your skills determine your income. The economy has changed permanently. And if you're still trying to build wealth with yesterday's playbook, you're already behind. We no longer live in the industrial age. We live in the skill economy, an economy that rewards thinkers, creators, and builders who can do one thing better than anyone else: turn knowledge into income. The truth is simple. Every millionaire you see today has mastered a set of monetized skills, skills they learned once and leveraged forever, skills that pay them repeatedly without needing to start over. They build once. They earn endlessly. The death of the degree. For decades, society sold you a lie. Go to school, get a degree, and you'll be set for life. But today, a $200 skill learned online outperforms a $200,000 diploma from a traditional university. The world doesn't pay for education. It pays for execution. The marketplace doesn't care how long you studied. It only cares how fast you can solve a problem. That's why people who master a single high-value skill, copywriting, coding, Digital marketing, automation, design, sales can out-earn doctors, lawyers, and engineers. Degrees expire. Skills scale. The degree holder studies once and coasts until they're replaced. The skilled individual learns forever and grows until they own the market. The new rule is this: learn fast, apply faster, evolve constantly. The millionaire formula: skill plus leverage equals freedom. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know something valuable and know how to scale it. That's the foundation of the new millionaire class. They identify one or two high-income skills. Then they build systems, tools, or products that multiply those skills beyond their own effort. Here's how it works. Step 1. Learn a skill that creates value. This could be writing words that sell, editing videos that convert, building funnels that automate, or developing tools that save people time. Step 2. Package it. Turn your skill into something repeatable: a service, a product, a course, a subscription, or a consulting framework. Step 3. Scale it. Use automation, delegation, and technology to deliver value without needing your constant time. That's how a $500 skill becomes a $50,000 system. That's how you stop being the worker and start becoming the architect. The skill is the seed. Leverage is the sunlight. Together, they grow wealth that doesn't depend on your daily grind. The real reason people stay broke. Let's talk about why most people never make this shift. It's not because they're dumb. It's because they confuse learning with earning. They're addicted to input, not output. They read books, watch tutorials, buy courses, but they never execute. The world doesn't pay you for what you know. It pays you for what you apply. Knowledge without action is financial clutter. Application creates transformation. Stop consuming information like it's entertainment. Start using it like it's a weapon. Every new skill you learn should have a purpose: to increase your income, expand your leverage, or multiply your freedom. If it doesn't do one of those three things, it's a distraction. Learn once, earn forever. Let me give you an example. There's a woman who learned copywriting, the skill of writing words that sell. She studied it for 60 days, practiced it for another 30, and landed her first client for $500. Instead of staying in freelancing mode, she recorded everything she did. She built templates, frameworks, and a small course that taught others how to do what she did. Within 6 months, her $500 skill became a $50,000 income stream. She stopped selling her time. She started selling her system. That's the power of learning once and earning forever. Every great wealth creator understands this. They take a single skill, master it deeply, then multiply it endlessly. That's why the richest creators today are educators, coders, and builders, people who can replicate value without replicating work. Skill stacking, the compound interest of the mind. One skill can change your life, but stacking skills can change your legacy. Skill stacking means combining complementary abilities to create exponential value. For example, a great marketer who learns storytelling becomes unstoppable. A coder who understands business can build products, not just apps. A designer who understands psychology creates irresistible brands. Every new skill multiplies the earning power of the last one. That's compound interest, not of money, but of competence. The average person learns one skill and stops. The wealthy learn one skill, then ask, what can make this even more powerful? They stack until their value becomes undeniable. The fastest way to become irreplaceable. In a world of automation and AI, most people are terrified of being replaced. But here's the secret. AI doesn't replace skilled people. It replaces unskilled people. The more valuable your skill set, the more tools like AI amplify you instead of eliminate you. The person who knows how to use AI to create content, automate businesses, and analyze data will outpace 100 traditional workers. They're not competing with machines, they're commanding them. So instead of fearing technology, leverage it. Use it to multiply your time, scale your reach, and amplify your impact. That's how modern millionaires think. They don't ask, what happens if I lose my job? They ask, how can I make sure no one can do what I do? Not even a machine. Practical money moves. Skill monetization blueprint. Let's get practical. Here's your next move. Step 1. Identify a monetizable skill. Ask yourself, what problem can I solve that people will pay for? If you don't have one yet, pick from the top 5. Copywriting, digital marketing, automation, coding, or sales. Step 2. Build one offer. Don't try to do 10 things at once. Create a simple offer that delivers real results. Step 3. Productize the process. Turn your work into a system, templates, videos, a recurring service, or an automated workflow. Step 4. Sell the system, not the hours. Detach your income from time by selling access, outcomes, or automation. Step 5. Reinvest profits into leverage. Use your earnings to buy time. Hire help, buy tools, automate operations. Repeat this process for 6 months, and your income structure will transform. Your mind is your greatest asset. Your mind is a factory that can print money. If you train it properly, every new skill you learn increases the machine's capacity. Every moment you waste on distractions clogs the system. You must treat learning like an investment, not entertainment. 10 focused hours learning a profitable skill are worth more than 100 aimless hours scrolling online. Because skills never depreciate. Skills compound. Skills pay dividends forever. You can lose a job, an investment, even a business, but you can't lose who you became in the process of learning. That's true security. That's real wealth. Chapter transition. So remember this. The new economy doesn't pay the hardest worker. It pays the most skilled one. Wealth flows to competence, not effort. You've learned how skills create leverage and freedom. But now, you must protect that freedom from the trap that kills more wealth than anything else, comfort. Because comfort keeps people stuck in the middle class forever. Let's dismantle that illusion next. Coming up, Chapter 4. Escape the Middle Class Trap. Chapter 4. Escape the Middle Class Trap. The middle class was never built to make you rich. It was built to keep you comfortable. Just comfortable enough not to revolt, not to question, not to break free. And comfort, not poverty, is the real killer of wealth. See, poverty motivates. When you have nothing, you're forced to create. But comfort sedates. It whispers, you're doing fine. Don't risk it. And that whisper is how financial freedom dies. You're not stuck because you lack opportunity. You're stuck because you've been conditioned to chase comfort instead of control. The middle class doesn't need bars or guards. It runs on self-imposed obedience, the paycheck, the mortgage, the 401k, and the illusion of security. If you're serious about wealth, you must understand this truth. The middle class isn't a reward. It's a trap. The illusion of security. From the time you were a child, you were trained to seek safety, not freedom. Go to school. Get a stable job. Buy a house. Save for retirement. That's the formula the system fed you. And it works perfectly. For the system, not for you. You were programmed to trade your time for a salary, then hand that salary back to the same institutions that employ you. The banks, the credit card companies, the tax system. You're playing a game designed to make you feel secure while keeping you financially fragile. Let's break it down. Your income is capped by your employer. Your taxes are automatically removed before you even see your full paycheck. Your savings lose value every year due to inflation. And your retirement account locks away your own money until you're too old to enjoy it. You call that safety? That's not safety. That's a sophisticated cage. Why saving your way to wealth is dead. For decades, people believed saving money was the path to wealth. Maybe that worked 50 years ago, when inflation was low and interest rates actually meant something. But in today's economy, saving your way to freedom is mathematically impossible. Let's do the math. You save $10,000 a year for 20 years. That's $200,000. Inflation silently erodes its value. Your $200,000 buys half as much when you finally need it. And while your savings grow 1% a year in the bank, your cost of living rises 5%. You're falling behind every single day. Meanwhile, the wealthy don't save, they scale. They multiply their money by moving it through assets, investments, and systems that compound returns. They understand the law of velocity. Money that moves creates more money. Money that sits still dies slowly. Your goal shouldn't be to save dollars. It should be to deploy them. Every dollar you save should be working, earning, expanding, recruiting more dollars for you. That's how the rich think. That's how they play the game. The comfort trap. The middle class loves comfort. They buy comfort. They live for comfort. And they pay a heavy price for it, their future. Comfort is the drug that keeps people broke. It shows up as a bigger house, a newer car, a vacation you can't really afford but justify because you deserve it. The truth is, comfort purchases are rarely about happiness. They're about validation. People buy to feel successful instead of becoming successful. They trade long-term wealth for short-term status. And that's exactly what keeps them trapped. If you earn $100,000 and spend $90,000, you're not middle class. You're a few paychecks away from broke. The real measure of wealth isn't what you make. It's how long you could survive if your income stopped today. Wealthy people buy freedom. The middle class buys distractions. Freedom appreciates. Distractions depreciate. The economics of control. The system doesn't want you to escape the middle class. It needs you there, productive, predictable, and indebted. You're told to buy a home, not because it's wise, but because it locks you into 30 years of payments. You're told to use credit, not because it's empowering, but because it chains you to interest. You're told to live within your means, which sounds responsible, but often just means never outgrow your situation. Understand this. The middle class isn't an income bracket. It's a mindset. And that mindset is built on dependence. Dependence on a paycheck. Dependence on government programs. Dependence on external validation. You can't be wealthy while you depend on someone else's system for survival. You must become the system. How to break out. If you want to escape the middle class trap, here's the formula. Reduce consumption. Increase creation. Multiply money velocity. Step 1. Cut lifestyle inflation. When your income increases, don't let your expenses follow. Freeze your lifestyle and use the extra cash to buy assets or build systems. Every dollar you keep buys your freedom. Every dollar you waste buys someone else's. Step 2. Turn income into assets. Stop thinking like a consumer. Start thinking like an investor. Use profits to buy ownership, digital assets, automated businesses, stocks, or real estate that pays you monthly. When your money works harder than you do, you're escaping the trap. Step 3. Increase velocity. Money should move. Every dollar you earn should have a purpose, to create 2 more. Reinvest profits into better tools, smarter systems, and higher leverage. Wealth loves speed. The middle class fears it. Step 4. Control your environment. You can't break out of the middle class mindset while surrounded by middle class habits. Stop taking advice from broke friends. Stop seeking approval from comfort addicts. And stop comparing yourself to consumers. Your new circle should challenge you, not comfort you. Step 5. Think in decades, not paychecks. Middle class people plan for the weekend. Wealthy people plan for the century. Shift your time horizon. Build assets that outlive you. The mental prison. Breaking out of the middle class isn't just about money. It's about psychology. Because even when people earn more, they often remain mentally broke. They save instead of scale. They hoard instead of invest. They panic at risk instead of preparing for it. They were trained to fear loss more than they desire freedom. That fear is the invisible wall between average and wealthy. You must unlearn everything the system taught you about safety. Because what they call safety is often slow death, predictable, respectable, financially suffocating death. The moment you realize that risk is the price of freedom, everything changes. You stop hoarding cash and start building capital. You stop saving for retirement and start building systems that retire you early. You stop playing defense and start playing offense. The reprogramming. Let's rewire your thinking right now. Repeat this to yourself until it becomes truth. I am not middle class. I am in transition. I am moving from consumer to creator, from saver to scaler, from comfort to control. Every dollar you own is a soldier. Your job is to send it into battle, to fight for your freedom, not sit idle in a savings account collecting dust. The middle class hides their soldiers in bunkers, afraid to lose them. The wealthy send theirs to conquer new territory. That's the difference. And it's purely mental. Chapter Transition. The middle class trap runs on one engine, comfort. You've seen how comfort destroys ambition, how saving without scaling leads to slow financial death. But the truly wealthy don't just escape the trap. They rise above it through leverage. They build armies of systems, automation, and capital that work harder than humans ever could. So the next step is to understand that leverage isn't optional. It's the lifeblood of modern wealth. Coming up next, Chapter 5. The New Leverage, Code, Content, and Capital. Chapter 5. The New Leverage, Code, Content, and Capital. There was a time when building wealth required a factory, employees, and decades of grind. Today, that era is over. The new wealth doesn't come from manpower. It comes from leverage, from multiplying your output without multiplying your effort. In the past, leverage meant hiring people. Now, leverage means systems, code, content, and capital. If you don't understand how to use these three levers, you will spend the next 20 years watching other people become millionaires while you work harder for less. Let's get one thing straight. Wealth no longer rewards hard work. It rewards smart systems. The new rich don't work more hours. They multiply their hours through technology, media, and money. You don't need permission. You don't need an MBA. You don't need to hire a team. You just need to learn how to pull the three levers of modern wealth: code, content, and capital. Master these, and you become unstoppable. One code, automation is the new employee. Once upon a time, to grow a business, you had to hire people. You'd train them, manage them, and hope they didn't quit. Today, code replaces that. Automation is the ultimate employee. It never sleeps, never complains, and never takes a paycheck. It just performs. Whether it's AI, no-code tools, or simple digital workflows, code turns one person into 100. A single system can send thousands of emails, manage hundreds of clients, or deliver infinite digital products, all without your direct involvement. Let's make it concrete. Imagine you sell a $50 digital course. You build an automated funnel, a landing page, an email sequence, and a checkout link. You set it up once. It runs 24/7. You go to sleep. You wake up, and sales happen automatically. That's not magic, that's leverage. Now multiply that. Add AI customer service. Add chatbots that handle questions. Add software that personalizes every message. You've just built an automated business without hiring a single person. Automation doesn't just save time, it compounds productivity. If you automate 1 hour of your day, you free 365 hours a year. That's 9 full-time work weeks of creative or strategic time. That's what leverage looks like in real life. The person who learns how to code, or even how to use AI tools intelligently, will outpace 90% of the workforce. They'll build businesses faster, scale faster, and adapt faster than anyone tied to manual labor or traditional thinking. In this new world, code is capital. It's not about learning Python or Java. It's about learning automation thinking, connecting tools, so your money and ideas can scale without you. 2. Content. Attention is the new asset. The second lever is content. In today's economy, attention is more valuable than oil. If you control attention, you control income. The gatekeepers are gone. You don't need a TV network or a billboard. You have a smartphone. Every piece of content you publish, a video, a tweet, a newsletter, is a digital soldier working for your brand. And the beauty? Content scales infinitely. You create it once. It spreads forever. You record a 10-minute video today. It earns followers, leads, and income for years. This is the new reality. The person who builds an audience has infinite leverage. Because with attention, every business becomes easier. You can launch products instantly. You can get feedback instantly. You can reach the world instantly. The difference between someone earning $50,000 and someone earning $500,000 is often just visibility, not ability. The algorithm doesn't care about your background. It rewards your consistency and your clarity. If you can communicate value, if you can teach, inspire, or entertain, you can monetize attention. Look at the modern millionaires. They didn't build skyscrapers. They built digital ecosystems, content libraries that never sleep. A YouTuber automates impact with one upload. A newsletter writer earns through affiliate links while they sleep. A content creator builds digital trust that compounds over time. Every piece of content is a digital salesperson, and the best part? It costs nothing to deploy. The poor create consumption. The rich create content. The poor scroll. The rich publish. Ask yourself, are you feeding algorithms or training them to feed you? 3. Capital. Money that multiplies itself. The third lever of modern wealth is capital, not the kind you earn, but the kind you control and compound. Capital is not about having millions. It's about knowing how to move money intelligently. When you understand leverage, every dollar becomes a worker. There are 2 types of people. Those who trade time for money, and those who trade money for more money. The middle class fears risk. The wealthy engineer it. They understand that risk is a tool, not a threat. They know that the purpose of money is motion. It must circulate to multiply. Here's the truth. Idle money is dead money. A dollar sitting in a savings account earns nothing. A dollar invested in a cash-flowing asset earns forever. Capital isn't just about stocks or real estate. It's about velocity. How fast your money moves, and how many hands it passes through before returning to you multiplied. You start by using leverage. Automation earns you time. Content earns you attention. Then capital multiplies both into scalable wealth. That's the wealth trinity: code, content, and capital, each feeding the other. When your systems are automated, you earn time. When your content builds attention, you earn opportunity. When your capital circulates, you earn freedom. This is why modern millionaires are self-made faster than ever before. They understand how to stack leverage. 4. The myth of doing it all yourself. The old mindset says, if you want it done right, do it yourself. That's poverty thinking. Wealth says, if you want it done right, build a system that does it right every time. The moment you stop trying to do everything manually, your income ceiling disappears. You go from operator to owner, from worker to architect. Every hour you spend building systems is an hour you never have to repeat. Every process you automate, every piece of content you publish, every dollar you reinvest, it all compounds into something far bigger than yourself. That's why you must stop measuring your worth by how busy you are. The wealthy don't brag about working hard. They brag about not needing to. Leverage is the difference between exhaustion and expansion. If you feel burned out, overwhelmed, or stuck, it's not because you're lazy. It's because you're underleveraged. Your income is a mirror of your leverage. More leverage, more freedom. Less leverage, more struggle. 5. How to apply the 3 levers today. Here's how you start, today, not someday. Pick one skill you can automate. Use a no-code tool, AI assistant, or workflow app to replace one repetitive task. That's your first step into code leverage. Publish one piece of content every day. You don't need perfection. You need presence. Consistency beats complexity. Build your attention asset. Start reinvesting small. Put a portion of your income into something that grows without you. A digital product, a dividend stock, a micro business. Make your money circulate. These small moves compound faster than you think. In 6 months, you'll have systems working for you. In 12 months, you'll have an audience that trusts you. In 2 years, you'll have capital that multiplies itself. That's modern wealth, not luck, not inheritance, not hustle. Leverage. Chapter transition. You've now learned the 3 levers of modern wealth: code, content, and capital. But understanding leverage is just half the battle. Because there's one enemy that kills leverage before it starts: debt. Debt is the silent assassin of financial freedom. It disguises itself as opportunity, but it's really ownership in reverse, where the system owns you. So in the next chapter, we'll break it down. How debt traps the middle class, how the rich use it to grow, and how you can escape or exploit it. Coming up next, Chapter 6, The Debt Trap They Don't Want You to Escape. Chapter 6, Money is a game, and you've been playing it wrong. Money is not math. It's not morality. It's a game, and most people have been playing it wrong their entire lives. You were never taught how money really works. You were taught how to obey it. You were told to work for it, save it, protect it, but never how to control it. That's why the majority of people spend their lives chasing a score they don't understand, on a field they never learned, under rules written by people who already won. Let's be clear. The wealthy play offense. The poor and middle class play defense. The poor are always protecting money they don't even have. They're cautious with $100, but reckless with 40 years of their life. They play to survive, not to win. The wealthy play a different game entirely. They know money is not something to be saved. It's something to be used, moved, and multiplied. They play for control, not comfort. So if you want to master this game, you must first understand one truth. Money rewards motion. The 3 games of money. There are 3 games happening in the economy right now. The first is the survival game. This is where most people live. They trade time for money, live paycheck to paycheck, and think a salary is security. They play not to lose, and in doing so, they never win. The second is the accumulation game. Here's where the middle class operates. They've moved beyond survival, but not into strategy. They save, invest a little, maybe own a home, but they still fear risk more than they chase growth. They believe slow and steady wins the race, but that race doesn't exist anymore. The third is the multiplication game. This is where the wealthy play. They don't trade time for money. They trade ideas, assets, and systems. They understand that control and velocity create wealth faster than safety ever will. They don't think about earning money. They think about deploying money. Which game are you playing? Why playing defense keeps you broke? Defensive players live by fear. They hoard cash, avoid risk, and overvalue safety. They believe the goal is to not lose. But that's not the goal. That's the minimum. Let me tell you something that may shock you. Saving money does not make you safe. In a world where inflation eats 5 to 10% of your buying power every year, safe is just slow death. The wealthy know this. That's why they move fast. They understand that liquidity and control are more powerful than static savings. If they need cash, they can access it. If they need leverage, they can raise it. Their safety doesn't come from a savings account. It comes from options. You can't be financially free when your only move is to wait and hope. Defense is for survival. Offense is for freedom. The new rules: speed, risk, and attention. The rules of money have changed. We don't live in a world where you can work 40 years, save 10%, and retire comfortably. That model died decades ago. Today's economy rewards speed, risk, and attention, the three currencies of modern wealth. Let's break them down. Speed is how fast you make, move, and multiply money. The faster you execute, the less competition you face. Wealthy people act decisively. They test, adjust, and scale. Broke people analyze forever, waiting for the right time. There's no right time, only now. Risk is the entry fee to freedom. Most people fear losing $1,000, but think nothing of losing decades to a job they hate. That's the wrong calculation. The wealthy understand measured risk. They don't gamble blindly. They study, strategize, and strike when the odds favor them. They don't avoid risk. They manage it. And finally, attention is the new oil. If money is a game, attention is the scoreboard. In the digital age, visibility is value. If people know you, trust you, and listen to you, you have leverage. Attention multiplies opportunity faster than any investment ever could. If you control attention, you control income, liquidity, and control beat saving and security. The middle class loves the illusion of security, the house, the 401k, the stable job. But security is just a slower form of risk. Let's look at saving. When you lock money in a savings account, it's losing value daily. Inflation is a silent thief, and taxes finish the job. You're not protecting wealth, you're watching it decay. The wealthy do the opposite. They prioritize liquidity, fast access to capital. They don't trap money, they deploy it. They keep cash ready for opportunity. You can't make fast moves if your money is trapped in safe vehicles that grow slower than inflation. The ability to move is worth more than the illusion of safety. Think of your cash as a soldier. If it's locked away in a bunker, it's safe, but useless. If it's deployed strategically, it wins territory and brings back reinforcements. That's liquidity in action. And then there's control, the ultimate financial advantage. The rich never outsource control of their money. They may use advisors, but they make the decisions. They control their cash flow, their investments, and their direction. Because when you don't control your money, someone else controls your destiny. Why you keep losing the game? Most people lose because they play the wrong game with the wrong mindset. They think money is scarce. They think it's linear. They think it's earned through effort. It's not. Money is abundant. It moves in networks, not straight lines. It flows to people who understand how it flows. You can't win a game you don't study. And you can't win if you're afraid to play offense. The wealthy don't just play for money. They play for power. Power to choose. Power to move. Power to stop playing entirely if they want to. That's real freedom. And it starts with changing how you see the game itself. Action steps. How to start playing to win. Stop playing for comfort. Every financial move should either increase your income, your ownership, or your control. If it doesn't, it's a distraction. Prioritize liquidity. Keep cash accessible, not trapped. Have 3 to 6 months of operating freedom, ready for opportunity, not emergency. Move fast on information. When you learn something actionable, act immediately. Speed compounds faster than perfection. Reframe risk. Don't fear losing money. Fear losing time. Money can be recovered. Time cannot. Build attention assets. Create something that multiplies your visibility, content, community, credibility. Attention fuels every other form of wealth. Stay in motion. Money follows momentum. The more value you circulate, the more value flows back. If you shift from defense to offense, your results will transform faster than you think. Because wealth doesn't reward the cautious. It rewards the bold, the fast, and the informed. Reprogramming the player mindset. From this point on, think like a player, not a pawn. Don't let the system dictate the pace of your life. You are not a spectator in the economy. You are a participant. You're not working for money anymore. You're moving through it, manipulating it, mastering it. Money isn't moral. It doesn't care who holds it. It simply flows toward those who understand the game. And that game is about leverage, speed, and control. Not fear. Not saving. Not waiting. The sooner you start playing to win, the faster you escape the trap. Chapter transition. You've learned that money is a game, and the rules have changed. You've seen why the wealthy play offense, while everyone else plays defense. But there's still one powerful element that separates winners from watchers: mindset. Because even if you learn the strategies, you'll lose if your inner programming is poor. You can't out-earn a scarcity mindset. You can't out-invest a belief that money is evil. So in the next chapter, we'll rebuild your internal wealth operating system. How to think, act, and attract like the rich, starting with the one thing they never taught you in school. Coming up next, Chapter 7. The Millionaire Mindset Upgrade. Chapter 7. Debt isn't evil, it's a weapon. Let's talk about one of the most misunderstood forces in personal finance: debt. Most people are trained to fear it. They're told debt is dangerous. Debt is evil. Debt is the enemy of freedom. That mindset keeps them poor. Because here's the truth. Debt isn't evil, ignorance is. Used wrong, debt will destroy you. Used right, it becomes one of the most powerful wealth-building weapons on earth. The poor use debt to consume. The rich use debt to create. Same tool, opposite results. If you understand how to use borrowed money to buy assets that pay for themselves, you've just stepped into the financial big leagues. This is how fortunes are built, not through savings, not through scrimping, but through leverage. Why debt feels like a trap. Let's start with why most people hate debt, and why their fear is understandable. The majority were introduced to debt through liabilities, not leverage. Credit cards for things they didn't need. Car loans for vehicles they couldn't afford. Student loans for degrees that didn't pay off. Mortgages that chained them to jobs they hated. They were told this was normal. And for the average consumer, it is, but normal is broke. The system wants you to be a debt slave, not a debt strategist. Because when you fear debt, you stay dependent. You'll never use the bank's money to build wealth. You'll spend your life paying interest instead of earning it. But here's what the wealthy know. Debt isn't bad. Unproductive debt is bad. There's a difference between debt that drains your cash flow and debt that creates it. Consumer debt bad. Cash flow producing debt good. That's the entire game. The core difference, liabilities versus leverage. Every dollar of debt should be judged by one question. Does it make you richer or poorer? If you borrow to buy something that drops in value, you're losing. If you borrow to buy something that grows in value or produces income, you're winning. The average person borrows to look rich. The wealthy borrow to get rich. Let's break this down. Bad debt. Credit cards for vacations, furniture, gadgets, or emergency lifestyle inflation. You're paying 20% interest for short-term pleasure. Good debt. Capital that builds assets, rental property, online businesses, ad campaigns, inventory, automation. You're using the bank's money to make more money. It's the same mechanism, but one feeds your ego, the other feeds your freedom. You don't escape debt by avoiding it. You escape it by redefining it. The wealth equation: borrow, build, repay, repeat. Let's walk through how the rich use debt strategically. Borrow money with a purpose, not for lifestyle, but for leverage. Every dollar borrowed has a job: to buy or build an asset that produces income. Build the system, whether that's property generating rent, a content machine generating attention, or ads generating leads. The money is deployed to create cash flow, not consumed for comfort. Repay the loan with the asset's income. The goal isn't to pay debt from your pocket. It's to let the asset handle it. Repeat the process. Once you've proven it works, you scale the system, not your expenses. This is the wealth loop. It's how ordinary people turn small lines of credit into million-dollar portfolios. Let me give you a simple example. The controlled leverage strategy. Let's say you borrow $10,000 at 10% interest. Most people would call that risky. But instead of wasting it on consumption, you use that money to build an online system, a brand, a product, or an ad campaign. You invest in tools, automation, and marketing that bring in $2,000 a month in net cash flow. Within 6 months, you've repaid the principal. After that, it's pure profit. You didn't just buy an asset, you built a machine. That's called controlled leverage. It's the same mindset real estate investors use when they take on mortgages to buy properties that rent for more than the loan payment. It's the same logic corporations use when they issue bonds to expand operations. It's the same approach the wealthy apply to every financial decision. Use other people's money to accelerate your own growth. While others fear credit, they fear stagnation more. Understanding the mechanics of smart debt. Let's make this practical. Here are the 5 filters that separate strategic debt from destructive debt. Purpose. Does this debt buy an appreciating asset or a depreciating one? Cash flow. Will it produce income that can cover the payment and still leave a profit? Control. Do you have full control of how the borrowed money is deployed and managed? Exit strategy. Is there a clear plan to repay or recycle the debt without stress? Timing. Does this debt help you move faster toward a specific, measurable goal? If the answer is yes to all 5, it's leverage. If not, it's a liability disguised as opportunity. Never borrow emotionally. Borrow strategically. Debt doesn't make you rich or poor. Discipline does. The psychological shift from fear to mastery. Here's the hard truth. Most people are afraid of debt because they don't trust themselves. They've seen how impulsive they can be with money. They know the temptation of just this once. They've never learned to delay gratification or manage risk, so they blame the tool instead of the user. But a sword isn't dangerous in the hands of a master. It's dangerous in the hands of the untrained. If you want to win with debt, you must become the kind of person who can handle it, disciplined, strategic, patient. That means having a clear plan, measurable ROI, and the emotional control to stick to it. When you see debt as a weapon, you treat it with respect, not fear. Practical moves to start using debt as leverage. Audit your current debt. List every loan, rate, and payment. Separate them into productive and destructive. Anything not tied to income generation is a liability. Consolidate and restructure. Pay off or refinance high-interest consumer debt first. Free up capacity to use credit for creation, not consumption. Establish business credit. Build credit lines separate from your personal name. This is how entrepreneurs scale safely without personal risk. Borrow small. Prove the system. Start with a small loan to fund something that generates revenue. Ads, products, rental arbitrage, or automation tools. Once it pays itself off, repeat with confidence. Track ROI relentlessly. Every dollar borrowed should produce more than it costs. If it doesn't, fix the system before scaling it. This is not gambling, it's financial engineering. Why the wealthy love debt. You'll often hear people brag, "I'm debt-free." But the wealthy rarely are. They're cash flow free, meaning their assets cover their debts. They use leverage to control millions in assets while risking pennies of their own. They borrow at 4% to earn 10%. They use banks as partners, not predators. That's how real estate empires grow. That's how businesses scale without dilution. That's how fortunes compound faster than inflation. The rich understand that the cost of money is lower than the cost of inaction. They don't fear interest. They fear stagnation. The debt freedom lie. You've been told the goal is to be debt-free. That's not freedom. That's neutrality. Freedom isn't the absence of debt. It's the presence of control. A person with $0 debt and $0 cash flow is still broke. A person with $1 million in leveraged assets and $10,000 a month in income is free. Debt freedom is a myth created to sell you security. Wealth freedom is built on leverage and mastery. Chapter transition. So now you know, debt isn't the devil. It's dynamite. Handle it right, and it can build empires. Handle it wrong, and it will bury you. But wealth isn't only about what you borrow. It's also about what you own, and how you make those assets work harder than you ever could. Because money doesn't grow through effort, it grows through multiplication. So in the next chapter, we'll move from debt to domination. You'll learn how to make your money earn for you, 24 hours a day. Up next, Chapter 8. Make your money work harder than you do. Chapter 8. Attention is the new asset. Money follows attention. Always has, always will. But today, attention is no longer a side effect of success. It's the foundation of it. We live in an economy where eyeballs are currency. Whoever commands attention controls the flow of money, influence, and opportunity. And the mistake most people make? They treat attention like a distraction instead of an asset. If you understand how to attract and direct attention, you'll never struggle financially again. Because in the modern world, attention is leverage, and leverage is wealth. Let me be clear. Attention is not about fame. It's not about going viral, chasing likes, or pretending to be an influencer. It's about visibility, trust, and authority. The three ingredients that convert strangers into income. You can't sell what no one sees. You can't impact what no one hears. You can't grow what no one knows exists. Attention is digital real estate. It's the property you own in people's minds. And right now, it's the most undervalued asset class on the planet. The shift from product-based wealth to attention-based wealth. A century ago, wealth was built on land, oil, and factories. Then it was built on data, code, and capital. Now it's built on attention. Every major company, Apple, Google, Meta, Amazon, is in the attention business. They don't just sell products. They sell access to people's focus. When you scroll, they profit. When you click, they profit. When you watch, they profit. The wealthiest individuals today, from creators to CEOs, have learned this one truth. If you can capture attention, you can redirect money. It doesn't matter what you sell, a product, a service, or an idea. If nobody knows you exist, you're invisible. And invisibility is the enemy of income. But when people see you, trust you, and associate your name with value, you create perpetual cash flow. Because attention doesn't just attract, it multiplies. The wealth equation. Eyeballs plus trust equals unlimited leverage. Here's the modern money formula. Eyeballs plus trust equals income, freedom, leverage. Attention alone isn't enough. You need trust to turn it into capital. Anyone can get views. Few can get belief. That's why the key isn't virality, it's authority. People don't buy from who they see the most. They buy from who they believe the most. Let's break this down. Eyeballs bring awareness. Attention opens the door. It puts you on the map. Whether through a YouTube channel, Twitter thread, email list, or a podcast, you're trading time for visibility. Trust locks the door behind opportunity. It keeps people from leaving. You build it by showing up consistently, providing value, and telling the truth, especially when it's inconvenient. Leverage is what happens next. When enough people pay attention and trust your name, you no longer have to chase money. Money chases you. Attention gives you scale. Trust gives you stability. Leverage gives you freedom. Attention is the new leverage. Let me make this brutally simple. Your reputation is your new credit score. In the old economy, banks decided your worth. In the new economy, the market decides your influence. Attention gives you options, investors, customers, partnerships, and platforms. It amplifies your income streams without needing permission from anyone. And the best part? It compounds. One post, one video, one email can work for you forever. Unlike labor, attention doesn't clock out. That's why people who master attention can out-earn entire corporations. One creator with 100,000 loyal followers can generate more income than a company with 100 employees. Why? Because attention is leverage, and leverage beats effort every time. How to build attention that converts. Now, let's turn this into action. How do you build attention? Not the empty kind, but the kind that prints money. 1. Pick a problem you solve. Money follows solutions. You don't need to be a celebrity. You need to be useful. People pay attention when you solve real pain, financial, emotional, or practical. Choose one problem you can solve better, faster, or differently than most. Make your entire message revolve around that solution. Specificity creates magnetism. 2. Document, don't perform. The fastest way to grow attention isn't to act like an expert. It's to document your journey. Show people what you're learning, what you're building, what you're fixing. Transparency builds trust faster than perfection. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be real. Authenticity scales in a world full of filters. 3. Be consistent, not occasional. Attention is earned through rhythm. You can't post once and expect results. You have to train the market to remember you. Think of every post, video, or email as a micro asset. Each one builds brand equity. The more consistent your signal, the stronger your leverage. 4. Build systems around your message. Don't chase platforms. Build systems. Schedule your content. Automate your repurposing. Use tools like AI, automation, and templates to multiply output without multiplying effort. This is how you create attention engines that work while you sleep. Content that keeps spreading your message long after you've logged off. Monetizing attention without becoming an influencer. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think attention means dancing for algorithms or selling their soul for sponsorships. That's amateur thinking. You don't need 1 million followers. You need the right 1,000. Attention monetization isn't about reach. It's about alignment. When you attract the right people, you can monetize in 5 powerful ways. Products, sell your own offers, courses, digital tools, or physical goods. Services, use attention to drive clients to coaching, consulting, or agency work. Partnerships, collaborate with aligned brands for mutual growth. Licensing, turn your intellectual property into recurring revenue. Equity, trade attention for ownership. Promote businesses you believe in and negotiate a slice of the upside. Attention gives you negotiation power. Because once people want your audience, you control the terms. The most successful entrepreneurs today don't sell time. They sell trust at scale. Case study, the attention multiplier. Take Sarah, a fitness coach with no fame, no team, and no budget. Instead of trying to go viral, she built a simple content system. Every week, she shared one transformation story, one tip, and one personal insight. Within 12 months, she grew to 25,000 loyal followers. That attention turned into 300 paying clients and $120,000 in annual income. Not because she became an influencer, because she became visible, valuable, and consistent. That's the new wealth formula. Attention compounds like capital. Think of every post, video, or piece of content as a tiny investment. Each one earns a small amount of interest in the form of views, trust, and authority. Individually, they're small. Together, they build an empire. Just like compound interest, attention builds exponentially. The content you post today could bring clients, deals, or income years from now. But the key is consistency. You can't compound what you don't commit to. Attention rewards those who stay visible when everyone else disappears. The mindset shift from consumer to creator. If you spend your days consuming other people's content, you're funding their wealth, not yours. Every minute you scroll is a minute you could be building your own attention economy. Stop being an audience. Start being a signal. Every thought, lesson, or insight you share is a brick in your financial foundation. Your attention is valuable. Use it to build, not escape. The final truth: attention is authority. Here's the hard truth. The marketplace doesn't reward the best product. It rewards the best-known product. The world doesn't pay for your potential. It pays for your presence. Attention is the ultimate equalizer. You don't need permission, connections, or capital to start. All you need is a voice, a message, and the consistency to show up. Money follows attention. Attention follows value. So if you want to get rich, become valuable in public. Chapter transition. You've now learned how to turn attention into income, how to capture, convert, and compound visibility into wealth. But attention is only one half of leverage. The other half is ownership. Because the true secret of wealth isn't just being known. It's owning what people know you for. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to turn attention and income into lasting equity. Up next, Chapter 9. Ownership is the ultimate freedom. Chapter 9. Build the empire, not the income. Everyone says they want freedom. But freedom doesn't come from a paycheck. It doesn't even come from high income. It comes from ownership, and ownership only matters when it's multiplied. The broke chase income. The wealthy build ecosystems. That's the difference between someone who's rich once and someone who stays rich forever. If your financial life depends on one income stream, one client, or one source of cash flow, you're not free. You're fragile. An empire is built when you design systems that feed each other, protect each other, and grow together, even while you sleep. Today, we're going to talk about empire building, not in the corporate sense, not in the fantasy of billions, but in the practical, measurable, daily habit of turning every win into a network of assets that serve you for life. The truth about income: it's a trap. Let's get one thing straight. Income is not wealth. Income is fuel. It's temporary, transactional, and limited by your energy or your time. You can't scale effort. You can only scale systems. The middle class glorifies income, promotions, bonuses, raises. The wealthy obsess over infrastructure. Here's why. Income without systems is like water through a strainer. It flows in and out without ever compounding. That's why so many high earners still live paycheck to paycheck. They've built a lifestyle, not a legacy. If you want to move from doing well to building wealth, you must stop asking, "How can I make more?" and start asking, "How can I make what I already earn multiply itself?" The empire mindset doesn't celebrate deposits. It celebrates replication. Income buys assets. Assets build empires. You need to think in layers, not lines. A line of income ends when you stop working. A layer of assets keeps stacking, keeps feeding, keeps expanding. Every dollar you earn should have a job. And that job isn't spending, it's building. Here's how the wealthy use their income. Income funds creation. They take profit and build digital or physical assets, courses, software, real estate, equity stakes. Assets produce cash flow. Each one sends steady income that doesn't require their daily presence. Cash flow funds expansion. The new income fuels new assets, creating a feedback loop. That's an ecosystem, not a hustle. An empire is what happens when your money doesn't just make money. It builds more machines that make money. From business to ecosystem. Most people build a business like it's a single project. They stop once it works. The wealthy use every success as a seed for something bigger. Let's say you build a profitable online course. The average entrepreneur stops there. I made it. But the empire builder asks, what can this course create? That course becomes a brand. The brand attracts a community. The community becomes a marketplace. The marketplace creates new brands. Now you're not running a business. You're running a network. Each piece feeds the next. Each system protects the others. The ecosystem model means you're no longer just earning. You're compounding reach, resources, and revenue. You're not chasing opportunity. You're manufacturing it. Case study. Turning one offer into an empire. Let's walk through a simple example. Imagine you launch a $99 digital course teaching a skill you know. Let's say copywriting. You start small. Just you, your laptop, and a few customers. Then you document everything. You track what works, what converts, what people ask for next. Now you build offer 2. Maybe a group mentorship or a toolkit. Your customers from offer 1 become the audience for offer 2. Your marketing content becomes evergreen. Your process becomes repeatable. Then you hire help, a virtual assistant, a marketer, or an automation tool. You scale delivery, free up your time, and build systems to handle growth. You reinvest profits into ads, SEO, or a YouTube channel, not for ego, but for reach. Your brand expands. People now trust your name, not just your product. Next, you launch a community, maybe a paid membership or mastermind. Now you've turned one course into multiple revenue lines, education, recurring memberships, partnerships. At this stage, your course doesn't just sell. It spawns new ventures. Your content drives leads. Your leads feed your brand. Your brand feeds new products. That's an empire, one system that builds others. Why you must think in systems, not sales. The broke think in transactions. The wealthy think in flows. You don't want one product that sells. You want a process that scales. When you build systems, you create predictability. Predictability creates peace. Peace creates perspective, and perspective creates power. Because when you're no longer hustling to survive, you can finally plan to expand. Here's the rule. Every system you build should make the next one easier. Your first asset should fund the next. Your next asset should automate the third. Your third should protect the first 2. It's a self-replicating financial organism, your own private economy. That's what an empire really is. Money organized intelligently. Building an empire starts with a blueprint. Let's turn this into action. Here are the 4 stages of empire building, simple but powerful. 1. Foundation. Build one profitable core. Start with one thing that works. One product, one offer, one cash flow stream. Don't build 5-week systems. Build one strong pillar that can hold weight. 2. Systemization. Automate and document. Once your core works, record everything. Create SOPs, templates, workflows. Your goal is to make your business run without your constant presence. 3. Expansion. Multiply outputs. Use profits to build adjacent income streams, new products, new channels, or partnerships. Leverage what you've already built instead of reinventing the wheel. 4. Domination. Build brand equity. Your empire isn't just about sales, it's about authority. Build a name people trust. A name that stands for quality, speed, or results. That brand equity becomes your most valuable long-term asset. This is how wealth moves from personal effort to permanent legacy. The psychology of empire builders. Empire builders don't think like employees or even entrepreneurs. They think like architects. They ask, how can I make this business run without me? How can I make my customer base create my next idea? How can I make every asset strengthen every other asset? This mindset shift changes everything. You stop trading energy for output and start trading strategy for scale. That's the true freedom code, designing your life so every move multiplies the next. From scarcity to structure. Most people build from fear. They're trying to escape scarcity. Empire builders build from structure. They're designing abundance. Scarcity says, I need to make more money. Structure says, I need to make money work for me. Scarcity reacts. Structure creates. And creation is the highest form of wealth. Because when you can design systems that live beyond your effort, you've exited the financial treadmill forever. The legacy principle. An empire isn't just about money. It's about multiplication through meaning. It's about creating something that outlasts you, systems, teams, and tools that improve lives long after you're gone. That's real wealth, when your work becomes a vehicle for others' growth. When your success creates opportunities for your customers, partners, or team. You don't need $1 billion to leave a legacy. You just need one system that keeps giving. Build that system, then build another. That's how dynasties are born. Chapter transition. So stop chasing income. Start building ecosystems. Because the goal isn't to earn once, it's to multiply forever. Every system you build is a brick in your empire. Every brick makes the next one easier to place. And soon, your money isn't just working for you. It's working for your vision. You've learned to build the empire. Now it's time to protect it. Because wealth without defense is temporary. Up next, Chapter 10, Protect the Castle. How the Rich Defend Their Wealth. Chapter 10, The Millionaire Mind Reprogramming. Every financial breakthrough begins in the mind. Not the market, not the job, not the economy, the mind. Because you can't out-earn your mindset. You can't build external wealth on an internal foundation of scarcity. If you believe money is hard to earn, it will be. If you believe wealth is for others, it will never find you. If you believe you're just not good with money, you've already programmed your financial ceiling. Wealth starts where identity shifts. The millionaire mind is not a myth. It's a muscle built through repetition, discipline, and conscious rewiring. Let's be clear. This is not about manifestation or wishful thinking. This is mental architecture, the framework that shapes your behavior, your risk tolerance, and your results. If your subconscious is coded for survival, you'll sabotage every chance to thrive. So, in this chapter, we're reprogramming your financial operating system, from scarcity and reaction to abundance and control. Step 1. Understand the operating system. Your mind is not a single voice, it's a layered system. On the surface, your conscious mind says, I want to be wealthy. But beneath that, your subconscious might be whispering, money makes people greedy, or I don't deserve success. Guess which voice wins? The one you've repeated the longest. Your financial life is a mirror of your mental conditioning. You behave in alignment with your deepest identity, not your loudest intention. That's why lottery winners lose everything. Their bank account changed, but their self-image didn't. They were still programmed for scarcity, so they returned to the environment that matched their beliefs. And that's also why some people rise from nothing and stay there, because they rewrote the script that ran their mind. If you want new results, you must install a new money identity. Step 2. The 3 layers of reprogramming. Reprogramming isn't about motivation, it's about mechanics. There are 3 layers you must rebuild: beliefs, identity, and rituals. 1. Beliefs, the code beneath the code. Every financial action you take flows from a belief. Beliefs are the mental rules that dictate how far you'll go and what you'll tolerate. Scarcity beliefs sound like, money is hard to keep. Rich people are lucky. I'll lose it all anyway. Abundance beliefs sound like, Money flows to value. Wealth expands when I do. Every dollar is a soldier. I send it to multiply. You can't build a wealth system on broken financial code. Every time you catch yourself thinking in scarcity, rewrite it immediately. Replace emotional reactions with rational affirmations. Example, instead of saying, I can't afford that, say, how can I afford that? The first closes doors. The second opens them. Beliefs create permission. Permission creates power. 2. Identity. Who you believe you are. You will never outperform your self-image. If you see yourself as someone just getting by, you'll subconsciously reject opportunities that could change your life. You'll find comfort in chaos because it's familiar. Wealth requires identity elevation. That means upgrading how you see yourself, not in ego, but in expectation. Tell yourself this. I am the kind of person who manages money wisely. I am the kind of person who earns more than I spend. I am the kind of person who multiplies value wherever I go. Your actions will rise to meet that identity. 3. Rituals where mind meets movement. Reprogramming doesn't stick without rituals. The consistent, daily reinforcement that trains your subconscious to obey. Wealth rituals are not about luck. They're about alignment. Here are 5 that every millionaire practices consciously or unconsciously. Daily wealth review. Track your net worth, cash flow, and investments weekly. What gets measured multiplies. Morning affirmation. State who you are financially, not who you were. This re-anchors your mind every day. Learning hour. Spend 30 to 60 minutes each day studying money, business, investing, psychology. Information sharpens intuition. Reinvestment rule. Reinvest at least 20% of every gain. It programs your brain for growth instead of consumption. Generosity practice. Give strategically. Scarcity hoards. Abundance circulates. Rituals turn financial awareness into automatic behavior. And automatic behavior is the secret weapon of wealth. Step 3. Install the wealth loop. There's a reason most people never escape financial mediocrity. They live in a scarcity loop. Earn, spend, stress, repeat. The wealthy live in a different loop, the wealth loop. Learn, apply, scale, reinvest. Let's break that down. Learn every week. Acquire a new financial skill. Read about cash flow, marketing, investing, or leverage. Knowledge compounds faster than money. Apply. Don't collect ideas, test them. Implementation creates data, and data is the raw material of wealth. Scale. Once something works, a side hustle, an ad, a product, multiply it. Leverage automation, delegation, or capital to expand your results. Reinvest, don't celebrate. Recycle. Put your profits back into the system, assets, education, or better infrastructure. That loop is how the wealthy stay wealthy. It's not a one-time sprint. It's a lifelong rhythm. When the loop becomes instinct, you no longer chase money. It circulates through you. Step 4. Replace fear with control. Scarcity makes you fearful. Abundance gives you control. The average person reacts to money emotionally. They panic when prices rise. They hesitate when opportunity calls. They chase trends and complain when they lose. The wealthy respond differently. They stay calm because they understand that money moves in cycles, and they're positioned to profit in all seasons. Fear disappears when structure replaces chaos. Want to kill financial anxiety? Build a plan. Track your inflows and outflows. Set income goals. Automate investments. When you create systems, your mind shifts from survival to strategy. Control isn't about knowing everything. It's about designing rules that protect you from your worst impulses. The more control you have, the more peace you gain. And peaceful minds make profitable decisions. Step 5. Upgrade your environment. You can't think rich while living in a poor environment. Your surroundings program your subconscious faster than any course or book. If everyone around you spends every weekend drinking and complaining about money, you're being conditioned for mediocrity. You need to upgrade your inputs. People who talk business instead of gossip. Books that challenge your excuses. Spaces that remind you of what's possible. Wealth is contagious, so is poverty. Choose your exposure wisely. Environment reinforces identity, and identity sustains wealth. Step 6. Make wealth a reflex. You know you've reprogrammed your mind when wealth becomes automatic, not forced, not emotional, but natural. You think in investments, not expenses. You measure in assets, not effort. You default to growth, not fear. This is what true reprogramming looks like, not affirmations for the sake of ego, but new instincts built from repetition. At that point, money no longer controls you. You've become the system, and the system always wins. The millionaire mindset in one sentence. Here it is. Money flows to those who think in systems, act in abundance, and move without fear. That's the essence of the millionaire mind. You don't wait for opportunity. You design it. You don't pray for wealth. You program it. You don't chase results. You build environments where results are inevitable. That's how you turn discipline into destiny. Chapter Transition. So far, you've learned to rewire your mind for abundance. To think and act like wealth is inevitable. But wealth is only half the story. The next chapter is about freedom, the ultimate goal of money mastery. Because money means nothing if it doesn't buy time, peace, and purpose. You've learned how to build wealth. Now let's learn how to live free. You don't need another job. You need another strategy. The world doesn't reward time. It rewards leverage. The rich aren't smarter. They're just playing a different game. They build systems, automate effort, and multiply outcomes. Every excuse you have is an anchor to poverty. You are one decision away from building your first money machine. Learn the skills, use the tools, reinvest the gains, and scale until money chases you. Don't save money, command it. Don't chase opportunity, build it. This is your wake-up call. Turn off distractions, turn on systems, and make your money work harder than you ever did. The next millionaire isn't luckier. They're just listening right now and taking action. Be that person. Start today.